easy.
So who else are we getting for this?
We get Talith freaking PA.
The Talith PA?
The Talith freaking PA.
Oh my god, I'm nervous. I heard he was really good at this game.
I know, it was really hard to try and get him on the show. I had to go to his agent, and, like, I had to book a time slot.
Oh, and the demands for his dressing room? I mean,
oh my gosh.
Very particular.
Look, his artist writer is so freaking complicated. Look, he wants the Skittles, but he doesn't want any of the, he wants a bowl of Skittles when he shows up, but he doesn't want there to be any grape ones in it, so you have to, like, pick them all out by hand. Oh, gosh. And it needs to be in a square container, a glass square container. Like, they're all round. What is this guy doing, man? He's just... Whatever, he's good. I'm going to minimize that for some reason. Well, I guess... No, I just close that. That's fine. Oh, I can leave that open. I can't see my
watching your stream
list.
Yeah, I'll let you know when it looks not terrible.
Okay. What's wrong with it? So I can fix it.
I don't actually know what you're going for. So what's the because I see this background.
Let me take a look.
You should what the hell is it? What background? The eclipse thing?
Yeah.
Oh well,
cool
hold on.
looking.
Let me show you what that would actually look like. Hold on. Oh. Look at it now. Does that make sense?
Yes. No, there is a wiki page with.
See? It's boots. It's about boots.
Boots.
And I have a little clock thingamajigger that tells, like, things.
My God.
Like, yeah, man. Come on. This is legit. Look at this.
Let me bring up what you're looking at and see how much of that is cut off.
Like.
It's a little bit. Not too much. All the necessary information is in there.
Yeah, but you don't have the good links to the related videos.
Well, see, this is more of a proof of concept video than anything else. I've thrown this together over like the last 3 hours. I like
If you call it a
thought
pilot,
about it.
it sounds better.
It's a
right?
pilot.
It's the same idea. Like
Yeah, okay, a
episode,
pilot episode.
right? That's classy. I like it.
Yeah, we're filming a pilot. It's no big deal. I just wonder how spastic this Skype overlay is going to be because the voice detection on it's probably terrible. So, yeah, I took that picture of the eclipse, too. Like, I actually did that, which I thought was pretty cool. I was trying to look for something there, and I'm like, I gotta find art that's not copywritten because I haven't made an overlay for the show yet. So, I'm just gonna pull a picture that I took off my hard drive because I know I own the rights to that. Go ahead, try and copyright an eclipse. The sun has more lawyers than you.
You can't own the sun, man.
You can try. I'm sure someone's tried to copyright it in court. Would not surprise me at all. See, it's weird because on my...
It's on their flag, right?
What?
Japan, right? They're the ones with the sun on their flag, right?
Yeah.
They probably try to copyright that. Okay, who else just Googled Japanese flag? Because I just did.
I totally didn't. I know what it looks like, though, because I have a family that live on Japan. They live on the island Okinawa.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the old
it looks like
flag.
Wait a minute. Is anyone looking at the stream right now?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, that's great. One person says yes, one person says no one is. So I'm going to assume that half a person's watching. They have like one eye closed. I'm moving something around on my desktop. Does it show up weird on the screen? Like, do you see two of the Skype overlay thing?
I see you messing with the client.
What's it do? What's it look like?
It looks like you're just dragging something in and out of the client.
Are there two of the Skype overlay thing?
Mm-mm.
Does it show? Does it show two of it now?
Well, it's hard to tell because there's if it is showing it, there's nothing in the overlay because I don't.
Oh, right. Because
why?
we moved that. Damn it,
Maybe
broke.
Maybe you should have learned how to use the overlay before the podcast. You know?
I didn't have anyone to debug the stream with.
Look, he needed people to talk with, and he needed people to help him. Oh, you just fit a name there.
Okay, I fixed it.
Well,
I forgot I had League up. See, I don't have the second monitor right now because the guy who had donated it to me, his laptop promptly broke like 3 weeks later. So the laptop is the loan is on loan to the owner. It's complicated, but I'm probably not getting it back for a few months. So originally I had this planned out for 2 monitors because I would have my League and this stream window would be over on the second monitor, so they wouldn't get in the way. Now, if I want to open my League client, it takes up the whole screen and it covers the overlays that are on the side because you can't resize League's window because it sucks. Not that League's client sucks.
No,
Just
that's
the
ridiculous.
fact that you can't
That's silly.
resize it makes me a little sad. I'd never suggest such a thing on a non-Riot promoted stream. Yeah. So we're just waiting for Talith freaking PA to get out of his thing. Oh, sweet, Toaster's watching. The only reason I call him that is because his name's freaking hard to pronounce. Takoyaki Gunsu?
We were just talking about Japan too.
Gunso? Gunsu?
Crazy.
No, it's Gunso because there's no I in it. But see, I have the Skype thing in the worst spot because it's actually directly over my friends list, collapse expand, so I can't click it. Oh, I'm terrible at this. Okay. Cool. Oh, so you've upgraded to toaster oven. Excellent, thank you. I don't have the Twitch chat open either because I'm terrible. It's mostly because I have nowhere to put it. So, I don't know. But thank you for letting us know on the audio balance. I better plug the stream in the thing. It's like, what? Gandair can't stream? I'm like, shut the fuck up. I can stream. I just can't stream gameplay because
Tell me what to do.
You can't tell me what to do. I have the button that says start.
See, Talith's actually in a Proving Grounds game, so it could be any amount of time before it ends. What's he playing as? Rainbow.
Actually, I think I can temporarily... Actually, I don't think I can add a screen region while I'm recording, can I? I think that would royally F everything if I did. Let's try that. Let's see if it explodes or not.
If there's ever a good time to stop recording, fix something, and start recording, it's now before you actually start doing anything.
What can I click that doesn't F anything up? There we go. This text doc should be safe to open. Yes! There's nothing incriminating in there. Cool. Alright. I'm afraid that when I'm streaming, I'm afraid to open anything on my desktop because my internal notes sometimes have references to stuff that's makes you go, huh? Okay, so I have that. Let's see if I can add a screen region while I have the thing. No, you can definitely do that while it's on. Add screen region. Clicky! My left click's kind of broken. There we go. So there's that. So let's take that off. Let's drop the overlay for the thing, put that, and do this. That shows my desktop now, right? Okay. Cool. That's just until I get things going. That way I can have my League client open and not hate my life.
Look at all those tabs with all those boots.
I know, right? 0 dropped frames, that's good, but I have like some lag, which is sad. But that's because my computer's actually not that good. And having all of these scenes load and XSplit at once makes things unhappy. So I'm probably gonna like kill a couple of them once I actually start doing this thing. I just need a better graphics card. I need a better computer overall. I'm pretty bad, but I don't have any dollars. Why do you have to have ARAM? Who does that?
I feel like he went random in a draft game, like a draft PG game. Which is kind of silly, right? You'd expect him to go to an ARAM game for that. Nope, not this guy.
Look, I liked it better when it was called Arab. I thought that was funnier. Because people would walk in a conversation like, I fucking hate Arab. And they're like, oh my god, you're a racist. And it's like, no. All random, all bottom. It's okay.
Like I've had so many Arabs today. Like, what does that mean?
I don't know how to take that, or which way you took it. I don't...
Congratulations, and I'm offended? I don't know what to do.
Like, I'm gonna go Arab for my birthday. What? Yeah, there's too many ways that can go.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So
back. Give me a sec.
all right. So basically, what I got is I have a bunch of tabs on LawWiki because I didn't think ahead of time of like anything to put up on it. But I'm just gonna like we're just gonna talk about boots. I'm just gonna go down the list of boots. There'll be an intro. I'll explain what the hell's going on here. We'll talk about boots. Be great.
What you need to find is an image, just a big old image that has all the boots for context.
I'm gonna type circle of boots into a search and see what I get. It's probably gonna be like actual boots, but
Right?
or it could be horrible. I don't know. Circle of boots.
Actually, you could go to the League's actual site, go to items, and then do a search on boots.
Last time I tried that, it took forever to load. But then again, it's using the old computers now.
Is there even a search option here? I don't think there is.
On the wiki?
It's like cowboy boots and stuff.
I was
really
looking at actually the League client because it has bigger pictures, description, price, all that jazz. But it doesn't actually have a way to. It doesn't have a good way to filter.
Wait, you guys are both Parks? What?
No, I'm not a Aparkhurst.
That's still kind of creepy to me. It's just
really
like
common
it's just like Andrew and Andrew. There's these two guys that.
What are their names?
What?
What are these guys' names? You're not telling the story very well.
The Andrew and Andrew?
Yeah, what are they?
Oh, it's the two of the DD admins. They're both names start with Andrew, so trying to talk to them.
Okay,
in
so
Skype
their names
is
are Andrew.
ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, trying to talk to them in Skype is ridiculous because we never know which one's talking. Because it just says Andrew, and they're both Andrew, and it's like, what? Ooh, he's out. Cool.
Like a kid edition. Ooh.
Wait. Can you message him my Skype on Skype so I don't have to post it on the stream? Actually, wait, no, I can just take that scene down. Never mind. Haha. I'm a wizard. Get some.
I don't even see Talith in Skype.
I'll tell him to log on. Okay, so I'll click this off. Then I'll click this on. And that
I
means
could
I can
jump
do
on
whatever I
Vent if you
want.
want me to.
What's
He's on Vent.
Who uses Vent? I haven't used Vent in like...
I'll have to get his ass out of it and into Skype, yo.
I haven't... No, not that button. Not that button.
Do you want me to tell him, or are you good?
I can do it now. I had to take down the overlay thing first. It's fine. What?
Yeah, the reason we like Vent is just because we can hop in between different games. Like if we're also a queue and we have two games going, it's really easy to jump in between them and have two different channels. And push to talk is nice, and Skype is kind of derpy sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't really have any problems with Skype. I hate the push talk thing with Vent. I can't turn it off and have it work properly, so I just don't like Vent at all.
See, decimal was always my PTT key on Vent, but sometimes if I hit numlock, it would turn into delete instead, so I'd hit it and everything would just get fucked up instead of me talking. It'd just delete a bunch of shit. It was really bad. I never rebounded to anything else because I'm an idiot. So... And then when World of Warcraft released Flying Mounts, that was like one of the axis controls, so your dragon started doing flips and you couldn't go forward while you're... I'm like trying to talk and my dragon starts spinning uncontrollably and loop-de-loops. I'm like, what's going on? I just want to go straight.
You're just role-playing, your character's bad at flying, riding dragons?
Yes. I played on an RP server for a little while, which was actually pretty cool, but I couldn't handle being in character all the time, so I had to be like, nah, look, this is fun, like a lot of fun, but I just, no. We're in a raid, beat the boss, leave the Sir and Yi outside of the vent call, for fuck's sake. There's no overlay, I love it! I took that picture of the eclipse, pointed my camera at the sun, I looked right at it, I pressed a button. I heard you're not supposed to do that, but where is...
If you're looking through a lens, it might be okay. Or it might be significantly worse. I don't know, I'm not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor, I just play one on TV.
Oh, everything got purple.
What do you mean?
Your overlay is not purple.
Is it?
It's black. Oh, no, it's not.
Is it? No, I just maximized that and it unmaximized.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, it's just like... Oh, that's amazing. I love the purple. Okay, it's gone now. It's just a little off.
What's it display now?
Now it's just the same as it was before,
Okay.
but...
Alright. Okay, cool. I'm actually going to log out of the league to save me some processing time. Or some whatever the fuck that thing's called that your computer does. Because my computer's terrible. I just want to stick dry ice in it when I want to do something like actual with it. Cool. There we go. I found Talith freaking PA. I'm gonna get him in here. I said get him in here. Step 1, click the button. Step 2, drag the button. Step 3, let go of the button. Yes! I did it! I think it worked.
It'll work when you start stalking.
What?
I don't know if Talith is actually there. Talith?
Yeah.
Talith.
Yeah.
Hi!
How's it going?
Can you hear me? Can you hear everyone?
I can hear just fine.
Okay. So mic check. I have 3 people.
Looks like it.
Okay, cool. I'm just gonna assume it's yes. We're gonna start anyway. If someone's late, then oops, they suck. Okay, so basically, we're gonna talk about Boots and Dominion, guys. How cool is that?
Pretty amazing.
Got access rights.
Okay. So, I hope my frame rate doesn't suck. Okay, alright. So, if anyone wants to post in DD chat, like, just whore it out a little bit, once or twice, because I actually log out of League chat just to save some processor power, because my computer sucks. And just be like, hey, there's a stream, we're talking about boots. Get in here. You wear boots in Dominion. We're going to tell you how to do it correctly. Or something like that, and then, like, link the stream to twitch.tv/VATOCLAN. And we're going to VOD this anyway, so it's not going to be, they're not going to miss anything, but I'd like some, like, live feedback on what's going on in case everything goes to shit and I have no way to tell. So, basically, this is like a pilot of an idea for a show where I grab people every week, different people from different teams that do different roles and talk about specific things in Dominion. In this case, it happens to be Boots. So that's why I brought you 3 guys here, because one of you guys does some AD and some ranged AD, and one of you does some AP, and one of you guys does that bottom lane thing where you support the entire game and make sure that nothing goes wrong, and have, like, the most important job other than killing people and arcane shifting correctly. So, but
Pretty hard thing to do.
what?
You'd be surprised how hard it is to arcane shift correctly.
I know, man. It's rough. So, yeah, let's do an intro, I guess. I don't have an intro for the show yet, so, because, I don't know, I just threw this together in like 3 hours. I'm like, I want to talk about boots, so I made a show about boots. I'm Gandair of the gaming clan VATOCLAN. I commentate League of Legends Dominion, and I'm tracking statistics and stuff, which are going to be released at a later date, because that's a huge project. But you can find my casting, youtube.com/VATOCLAN. I do some casting for DominateDominion.com on Saturdays on North America server for a League of Legends Dominion tournament that they run, and I've recently started doing a little bit of casting on Europe West for the 4 Players League Dominion tournament that happens on Sunday. So I do some casting on the weekends, and I do other stuff during the week. I also do a little bit of work with StarCraft 2, going to live events and interviewing StarCraft players and broadcasters and personalities and things like that. And I'm making a show, and we're going to talk about boots, but could you guys start with... let's go HaIfhearted Talith Aparkhurst. You guys want to introduce yourselves to the people watching?
For that, maybe you should re-advertise the stream in the Dominion chat.
If someone wants to post... I'm not logged into League right now to save processing power. It's terrible.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
this is going to VOD mostly, though. The stream's just up for the sake of having it up.
All right. I'm HaIfhearted of Team PECS. We've won a lot of the Dominion tournaments recently. I'm the ranged AP player for my team. I think that'll do for now.
What does PECS stand for?
Hey,
You guys,
Evelynn,
work
child
out?
support. It's a purposefully troll name.
Okay.
Not as troll as Booterices, though.
That name made me... Fuck! Like, that just... I couldn't believe that when I saw it. Talith freaking PA, man. Who are you?
I'm Talith. I usually play the 80 bruiser, 80 carry role for Blind Pick Bandits.
I thought it was Banditos.
It likes to change.
Oh, please
Another
don't
one.
make me change it in my notes.
Currently, it's signed up as Blind Pick Banditos.
Cool. And Aparkhurst, who are you and what do you do?
I am Blind Pick Bandits bot laner and #1 butterfly, team mascot, all around
Designated
Best player.
fullback.
The prettiest butterfly, right?
the prettiest butterfly. I mean, I don't like to brag, but,
You hope to get the allergy win from people?
yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of a backup plan.
All right. Cool. Moving on. Basic overview. What we're gonna do? I'm gonna go down the list about the different, obviously different boots and things like that, and we're just gonna talk about like when to buy them, what are good situations, what influences your buying of them. Because when I was just online the other day and I was playing a game and I realized that I have not bought my own boots in a very long time in Dominion. The game has bought my boots for me. My opposing team has bought my boots for me effectively because what they pick has influenced my build significantly the more and more that I've played and kind of gone up slowly in ELO and Dominion land. And what I've noticed is that it seems very seldom that I can actually kind of pick boots for myself that I have to counter buy. And they seem to be the biggest counter buy item in Dominion, I think, because they're one of the first things that you can complete usually, and they're usually one of the first things that you do complete. And with you getting them that early, you can have them be sort of a knee-jerk reaction to enemy team comps. You don't have to wait to get a Abyssal Scepter or a Fawn or a Riley's or a Thornmail or whatever. You can just turn your boots into whatever helps you, and you can get that pretty darn early. Is that kind of safe to? Is that a sort of safe evaluation?
Yeah,
It's a
sounds
little
about
vague.
right.
There's a few things you could clarify with that, just because like there's certain champions where you're going to get the same boots every time, like no matter what. Especially if your CDR depends on you having Ionian boots, you're always going to get Ionian boots. So sometimes it's not only guaranteed to be a counter pick item, but a lot of times guaranteed to be a certain item because it's in your build. Like if you're always going to build those boots, you don't really have a choice anyways. So, like you said, you're not really picking them based on what you want to do.
Well, in general, I think Gandair is fairly accurate though, because like boots are like I do find myself usually switching between Mercs or Tabby depending on the enemy team, and it's very rare that I actually pick up an offensive set of boots like Sorks or more frequently Ionians now. Just because like tenacity or the 10% physical damage auto reduction is so strong on stuff that like it's just an incredibly powerful counter guy.
I don't know, I feel like it depends on the champion and what you can get away with in that game.
Yeah.
If you feel like you can get away with one of the more offensive boots, then by all means.
So,
Yes.
so they're also, so sometimes you can get locked into them just by them being a specific part of your build, knowing that, oh, I can relax a little bit on, let's say, pen runes, knowing that I will always get sorcerer's shoes, or, you know, hey, if I take Ionian, then that frees up my blue slot, or I can take CDR boots, that way I'm a little bit less reliant on, you know, just, you can use them to give flex room in your rune and mastery choices.
Yeah. And one of the strongest things you can do right now is build an assassin, take 20 flat pen from your runes, and then go Soros Boots, then go Haunting Guys, then go Abyssal Scepter, and anyone who has 80 or below magic resist is being dealt true damage.
Yeah, that we noticed that when the freaking Layla ran that on Poppy. Oh my god.
Then you have a Mumu as your tank, and it's so bad.
Oh man, let us have him. Let Painkiller have a Mumu just once, please.
We've let him had it before. I want to go off on a rant really
I want to
quick.
do a Mumu brand again, yo. That shit was fun.
Oh, that's brutally unfair. I need to talk about pen and stat reduction, because this is something that will probably come up, is that magic resist reduction is its own separate stat from magic penetration. Magic penetration only ignores the positive value of a target's magic resist score. Now, magic resist reduction reduces their magic resistance score by whatever the value is.
But reduction is applied first, so it'll never take it into the negatives.
If you
That's
have...
Ending Nexus to Rocket for an hour.
If you have magic resist reduction in excess of their total amount of magic resistance, you can send them negative. This usually only happens when you have Abyssal Scepter Amumu with Kale or a Malady Champion or Fiddle or Morgana or something like that.
You just need a
Just
Mumu
to-
with...
Just to clarify one
full
point,
penetration runes and 60-pin items. That'll take them to like 100-something magic resist reduction.
No,
just
that'll
to
give them...
clarify one point, Kayla's percent shred, it's applied in this priority. It's flat reduction, then percent reduction, then flat penetration, then percent penetration. And the percent reduction cannot take you below a certain point because that's a percent of what you have then taken off of that.
Yeah. But typically you'll see MR values range from what? What's the highest you'll see in Dominion, like, starting off?
Starting off, you're talking about windmill fight?
40?
Yeah,
40-ish,
yeah,
it's
around the
usually
top.
pretty standard.
Seeing
Yeah, for the
40,
initial
50?
fight, it's about 40-ish.
40? And after let's say after Merc treads, people are running around 60,
around
70?
like- Yeah,
60 to 80.
range.
Okay. So it's not something that will come up often, but I just wanted to bring that up for the sake of, you know, there's always someone that misunderstands it when you talk about the game, you know, the game mechanics, having a misconception of the way that pen and MR reduction work. So if someone has, you know, 40 magic resistance and you have a Mumu with an Abyssal Scepter and Morg's Pool, you can get them down to like -9 or -13 or something like that with enough pool ticks. You can stack this with Fiddle's Aura too, but the magic resist reduction has to be in excess of their total magic resistance in order to make them go negative. And Pen only ignores their positive value. So if you have pen and MR reduction, if your MR reduction reduces them from 40 to 20, and you have 80 pen, you're still only going to pen that 20. It won't go any lower. And is there any other weird things with like game mechanics that we should clarify before I jump into boots or lack thereof?
Kind of weird things.
I don't know, just anything like that that needs to be explained beforehand. I don't think there is. Oh, no, everything else is just basically covered in the.
If you want to talk about a weird mechanic on boots, you could talk about the value of boots 1, boots 2, and boots 3. I mean,
Oh, dude,
kinda
that's
ties
that's
in really
already
well.
in the show notes, man. You're getting
We're
into it.
skipping to it.
All right. Okay, let's go to boots or a lack thereof. Okay, so boots or a lack thereof. Before we talk about boots, I want to talk about not getting boots, because you get boots in the game, but sometimes you open with something that's not boots. You open with I've seen people open with Catalyst. I've seen people open with stuff that I can't think of off the top of my head.
I've seen Sheen start.
Sheen, Giant's Belt. Do you guys want to run down some of the times where, like, some situations in which you would skip boots for the opening purchase and then pick them up after Windmill?
There aren't
So
really
the
too
bottom lane
many.
here, double Dorans with like a no mantle.
So you can start Brutalizer. That's a pretty common one, where you don't really need that much mobility. Then you go and just murder everyone with the Brutalizer. Because with this kind of goes with the end pen, but with was it 30 armor pen, 25 armor pen for runes in Masteries?
You can get 46 pen with the brutalizer and a full rune page in offensive masteries.
You go up to Windmill with 46 flat armor pen.
Yeah, but then again, you have to consider like the natural armor value. So people will be starting off at that point in the game, usually hovering around like what 20 to 30 armor. Like I don't know, I just don't see it as being worth it.
That's a choice you make. There's some champions like Misfortune who she runs at 370 with her passive on with no boots, so she can actually afford to just dump the boots at level 3 or 4 when you start at Windmill fight, and still run just as fast as everyone else.
Well, but then again, Misfortune doesn't really get too much out of Brutalizer upgrades, so...
What about...
You're the type of person that likes Yomas and everything.
Love that dinging sound when I click it. It's one of my favorite items. What about Catalyst openings? Like, what champs does that work on and why?
You pretty much don't ever want to see champions take Catalyst top, but there are a few who can do it bot, like Rise and Maokai are good examples. Soraka, but I don't really like Soraka. Singe can do it. Singe can get away with that just because he's pretty fast anyways. But you basically want a Catalyst when that early health and mana means something to you. Like for Maokai, the health means he regens a lot more because he regens percent of his health. Rise goes off mana, Singe mana, etc.
Singe also have mana scaling.
Mm-hmm. Anyone that double dips on the health and mana?
Now, I also heard someone mention Giant's Belt and Sheen.
Yeah, I could see a case for like Sheen Ezreal start.
Sounds like a Talith PA thing. Have you experimented with that at all, Talith? Sheen
If
opening
I
on
have
ranged?
An absolute brick wall of champions in front of me. I can afford to go Sheen. Sure, why not?
Leona, Alistar, Nautilus, and Ezreal is your comp when you get a Sheen start.
Sounds
And
great.
No one gets you. No, it's a perfect comp.
Confirmed perfect. Has been set, has been done. Is there anything else to no boot openings that's worth noting or musing about?
Some people like to do, what is it? Revolver and 9 potions or something like that. You can do that bot lane. You get a bunch of potions and revolver.
No,
I
you'd
think that's pretty common
be
with,
better off
Dwarf
going
guys.
boots. You'd be better off going like boots double amp to him and then immediately backing after capping the point for your revolver. Nix likes to Mordekaiser bot.
Yeah, and you lose lane control that way.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I think I don't know. Early Revolver just feels kind of weak to me because like Spell Vamp is just like especially in AoE spells. Spell Vamp is just such a weak stat for sustain. Better off with Catalyst.
All right. Well, let's talk about actual boots now. So we've covered a lack thereof. Let me switch my screen up here, and nope, not that one. This one. There we go. Got a page on a website open. Shows boots of speed, costs, just item stats, stuff like that. And let's talk about Boots 1. Boots 1 is, we'll typically see people run Boots and Pro Item. Pro Item being an abbreviation for prospectors, because saying prospectors is a mouthful. So Pro Ring, Pro Blade, Boots, we see that as a really common opening. Is that the standard, or can you go Boots something else?
Boots Ring is more standard for AP's bottom. I don't feel it's really affordable for top.
It really depends on what you want to do. Like, a ton of champions top that want to be tanks will start with boots and then Aegis components with, the life crystal and maybe the cloth armor, depending on the comp, and then some pots. Or bot lane, you can do boots and 2 Dorn shields, but that is almost like a prospector item.
So it basically comes down to just being boots and then components.
Yeah, I mean, you can always start boots too. Like, bot lane, you can start with Ninja Tabby if you know you're against AD champion. That's what Infeed's Nunu tends to do, is Ninja Tabby and a Meki Pendant.
Yeah, that was going to be my follow-up question, was when...
Beat you to it.
When would you... Because Boots 1 is the... Why Boots 1 over Boots 2? Why go straight Boots 1 as Boots components as opposed to just going Boots 2 for the speed and the stat boost?
Because you're sacrificing, like if you go Boots 2, then like the speed boost and extra stats you get doesn't really outweigh like the health and damage or stuff that you get from, or the health and utility or armor from like a prospector's item or some other items with combinations. Like, by going Boots 2, I don't have enough gold left over to get, like, a Ruby Crystal or, Longsword or something.
Talith, you got anything to throw in on that subject?
Any actual combat value is just really hurting for it. If you ever have anyone that can gap close or just catch you, then you're dead regardless of the extra movement speed.
Alright, so Boots components or Boots Pro item is generally the kind of optimal way to start. In a majority of cases. I mean, there's obviously exceptions to be made, right?
I imagine the only exception would be Ninja Tabby. You can kind of try to do Zerka Greaves and then a Vamp Scepter, or Zerka Greaves and then another Dagger, but that's really risky. Or you could...
You find like a vein that goes up there with Zerka Greaves and Dagger, and then she dies before she can get 2 attacks in.
Ouch.
You could do Source Boots and then a ton of potions. I've done that on Italy a few times.
Oh yeah, I've done that on Cassio some too.
Because you've got 20 M pen from runes, and you go up with 20 more M pen from Source Boots. So basically, no one has more than 40 MR, except Mike, who starts with a chalice.
I'm not willing to sacrifice I'm not willing to sacrifice my 24 magic, which is at level 18, for an extra 5 magic pins, so I just go 15 in the runes.
Okay, well, hey, let's talk about old meta. Let's go back to November when Dominion first came out. Let's talk about mobility boots. They were originally the most popular boots, and I like them just because in games, me personally, I love movement speed. I like being able to get places quickly. I just like to outrun people and chase people and be over here, be over there, wherever. Strafe running in FPSs. It's just anything that's movement speed intense I like. And so I like to play around with these boots, but it feels like the knee-jerk reaction when Dominion first came out was, hey, let's move speed, and let's run around, let's be crazy. There's speed shrines everywhere, and there's cap, back cap. And now it feels like we don't see them as much.
To be fair, when Dominion was released, we had Priscilla's fucking Blessing. That broken, overpowered item.
That item's that item was
that's why everybody was
unfair.
running ability roots and back capping, because they had Priscilla's Blessing. And it was retarded overpowered, so, like once that item was removed, like a lot of the incentive for back capping was taken out of the game. It wasn't until Hooters came around that, people were like, oh, maybe we can back a cap again.
So what's the state of mobility boots now? Are there champions and situations in which it is still a good buy, or are you better off going with something combat oriented, because there are no combat stats on boots of mobility? It is simply like a support or a kind of harass assassin style thing to have that extra movement speed, getting kicked up to that movement speed 5.
It's definitely for assassins. You'll see things like Twitches, Shakos, people who have this temporary invisibility where they want to really, get somewhere real quick, like generally ganking bot lane, running back out top. So
PH, he takes on bot lane gankers like Blitzcrank. I know Captain Bluebird takes on Steve too, just so he can gank bot more efficiently.
So if you're trying to like cover across the whole map, it makes sense to grab them, but you still sacrifice a lot.
So stealth champs, is there another champion that they synergize well? I heard someone mention Misfortune earlier. Are champs that have move speed increases, like, let's say, Misfortune, Zillion, Rammus, Hecarim, some of these other champs that kind of are known for having speed or have speed part of their kit, is there a place where it can synergize well enough to be taken over another item?
Misfortunes is actually a flat move speed boost, not a percent one, so it wouldn't actually increase the mobility at all.
Okay.
Movement speed damage you gain on Hecarim's passive isn't worth boots 5 versus other combat.
Hecarim doesn't have enough conversion to go swiftness.
The other champions you might see with this, who aren't assassins, who aren't stealthers, would be probably Poppy and Rammus, and even on BPB, our Rammus and Poppy player, like, with some mobility. We give them, a certain talking to whenever they pick them up, but they like them, so I think it's really up to you. If you can make them work, good for you.
Now, on a parallel subject to that, Boots 3, aka Boots of Swiftness, I'm not using my overlay correctly, there we go. I forgot to click mobility boots. So, I'll leave it on the screen for like 10 seconds while I start talking about, no, there's one more thing to cover on mobility boots. Boots of mobility in the case of aggressive back capping, aka pooters. Yes?
Well,
Or
they're essential.
treads or something?
No, mobility boots, because Pooters is covering more of the map than anyone else in the game, so like he definitely gets use out of that extra mobility. Plus, mobility boots allows Pooters to actually get to your bottom point before your bot laner can actually finish capping the damn thing. So like that's another reason for him to take it. It gives him more pressure at the start of the game.
For anyone that's not familiar with who Pooters the player and what Pooters the play is, Pooters is a player who became very popular for playing a very aggressive backcapping style of play with Zillion, using Boots mobility, fast forward, Quicksilver Sash, Flash, Ghost, Force Nature, Shurelya's Reveille, and a lot of these other things. He's just doing a very aggressive backcapping style, forcing another player to pull away from the team and basically become a 3v3 and a 1v1 with the two roamers, Pooters, and whoever decides to be anti-Pooters. The terms are now, Pooters is a verb, to poot or to Pooters is to backcrap with extreme aggression, and to anti-poot or to anti-Pooters is to be a dedicated, to be a person dedicated to stopping aggressive backcapping. So in the case of Pooters, we can make a case for mobility boots still for that style of play.
Definitely essential for that.
Okay, cool. Now I had an excuse to keep that up for a little while because I didn't have that up on the screen. So now Boots of Swiftness. This just gives you +3. It's diet Boots of mobility, but it's like normal boots with sugar and a cherry, right? Where the hell do these boots get used, if at all? Because I feel like I never see them. I don't know what role they fit at all.
I know Evans who's been using them on his Misfortune play recently. I don't
I've
know
tried
if
on
it's not.
Misfortune. I felt like it worked pretty well. It
There's
just feels like the most niche of boots, though.
Yeah.
The advantage you have with Boots 3 over Mobility Boots is that you're in combat, you're attacking people, and you're getting attacked while keeping some movement speed. So that's the case to make for Swiftness over Mobility Boots. There's maybe one champion, maybe two champions who can actually use them. I don't know if there's...
Well, we heard Misfortune. Who would another or any others be?
Maybe
Singed.
Singed?
Yeah.
Maybe Singed.
Yeah. Then again, Singed loved Merc Dreads and shit, so... Or Tabby, so like...
Would Boots of Swiftness not lend itself well to a stutter step kiting style of play?
You actually stutter step better with additional attack speed, so stutter stepping with Berserker Greaves is better than stutter stepping with Boots 3.
Yeah.
We keep hitting these in order because it's funny you mention Berserker's Greaves because it's actually the next thing on the list. Unless anyone else has anything else to say about Boots of Swiftness.
Needs buffs. Riot needs to give it Ignore Unit Collision already.
That would be too
There's
good.
only been like extraneous situations where I've gotten Boots 3. That's when you're up against people that do stuff like movement speed 0.21 9 Pantheon on the enemy team.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Let's talk about the next boost. I don't want to talk about that subject.
Yeah, Boots of Swiftness can stay in the box in the shelf in the girlfriend's closet where she never wears them, except when she needs to get to a sale really fast. That was misogynistic. I'm sorry. Sometimes guys, they just got to get out and they got to be the first in line at that concert, even though they're going to stand there forever anyway, waiting in the queue to get in. Or when you're late for work, you dig them out of the closet, you throw them on, and because you're a slacker, you were out late, you're just waking up, throwing your Boost of Swiftness, and you go to work. It only really helps you get to your car and out of your car faster, so it doesn't really do that much. Well, that's a really good example. It helps you get to the fight and out of the fight, but most of your time is spent in the fight, so you're not really getting the benefit of the Boots 3, are you?
Nope.
Wow. Damn, I came up with that on
Fine.
accident. Okay. I guess the same argument applies for the Boots 2.5, or the mobility boots. Alright, Berserker's Greaves, though. This is a shoe that causes sparks on its icons. This increases your attack speed, 25% attack speed on boots. This feels like a Talith freaking PA item. You want to have the first comment on Berserker's Greaves? We'll make HaIfhearted go last because he plays AP and probably doesn't build them.
It's the item you get on an 80 carry that has a team to protect him.
So you need a bodyguard if you're going to build Berserker's Greaves.
I definitely feel like it. I know if, let's say I'm in a solo queue game, I can't guarantee that my team will protect me on, let's say I'm playing Ezreal, so I'd rather have Ionians or one of the actual defensive options.
Okay. Aparkhurst, do they play a role in bottom lane play at all, or do you really need
They actually really do, and not for, the reason they play a really big role, especially for Kog'Maw, because I play a lot of Kog'Maw. The reason why I love Berserker Greaves is that they are slot efficient, and I don't have room to actually build a dedicated attack speed item. I can't build a Phantom Dancer because I just don't have room, because I need Executioner's Calling, I need Last Whisper, and I need 2 Eye Edges, really 1 Eye Edge, and I need an Atma's, and there's so many other items that I need to build for defense and crit that a lot of time I will opt for Berserker Greaves because I already have to have boots, and I might as well get attack speed out of them.
Okay. Which champion's bottom lane? You mentioned Kog'Maw. Do they come into play on any other bottom lane champions, or just that one in particular?
I would imagine any ranged AD who... The problem with a ranged AD bot is that you're going to be glass, and if someone catches you, you're probably dead, right? During a gank, Ninja Tabby's probably not going to keep you alive, but in theory, you can kill someone. If you're Vayne and you've got 2 seconds to kill someone, a little bit of attack speed helps, right?
Okay. Talith, are they just a ranged AD item, or would we see melee AD use them at all?
No, you don't want to
I've
see...
always felt that it was a ranged 80 carry item. Usually the melee champions just get kited too hard to not have one of the other options.
Okay. Alright, Half-Hearted, if you deal spell damage, what would you do with Berserker's Greaves?
Sell them and get Sork boots.
What about Diana? Any comments on Diana for anyone?
Sell them and get Sork boots.
There we go. Don't build them on AP. Confirmed for not for AP. This should be we should make commercials for League of Legends. Berserker's Greaves, not for AP. Dramatic sound effect. You can get attack speed all the time. And it's just a clip of like Ezreal shooting or Varus shooting on a loop or something like that. You can attack so fast, you just turn up the speed on the GIF. All right. Any other thoughts on Berserker's Greaves before I kick over to next item?
You could probably work on attack speed champion like Teemo if you're planning on getting Void Staff instead of Flat Pen.
Void Staff Nashor's Berserker Greaves.
Yeah, I do think that Void Staff Teemo was the superior option. That's just me, though.
All right. Sorcerer's Shoes. We've hit on this a lot, and we talked a little bit about spell pen and magic resist reduction earlier on, so I hope you guys have a little bit of a clearer understanding of that. Sorcerer's Shoes it's a very magic oriented. Who does magic damage here?
I think it would be mostly not Talith, so...
Alright, Talith PA confirmed for not magic.
You're not magical Talith, take that.
Aparkhurst, you played Malzahar. He does magic damage, right?
Malzahar, no, but I play a lot of mages tough.
Oh.
Just
well,
saying,
Half-Hearted, do you cast spells?
Maybe. I have been known to set things on fire on occasion.
Okay, well, as someone who might cast spells, what do you think is Sorcerer's Shoes' place in Dominion?
It depends on the mage you're playing. Like someone if a few can get away with it, that's great. But like on some of the more close range mages, like Rumble or Rise, I feel like you'd be better off going with a more defensive set of boots, like Tabby or Murktreads. On something with like really long range, like Brand or Cassio, like I feel like, or Xerath even, like I feel like Sork boots are pretty. Well, Xerath needs CDR, so no Sork boots. You go Ionians and him, but like on something like Brand or Cassio, who can just do their damage from like a billion miles away, yeah, Sork boots is definitely a viable option.
Now you said Xerath. Half-Heart, have you made Xerath viable yet? Can we play him? Is he ready?
I can play him. I don't know how comfortable I'd be playing him in a tournament.
No. I didn't ask if you could play him, because we know you can, but can we play him? Can non-Half-Hearted players play him?
I don't see why not, honestly. Like, he actually has a pretty good steroid in his W, and like his early game is freaking terrible, but like his late game is pretty darn good. So I think Xerath, yeah, you could play Xerath.
Okay, he's viable. You heard it here first. Parkhurst, what do you think of Sorcerer's Shoes?
So Sorcerer's Shoes, this is how I play mages top. I decide if I want flat pen or a void staff, percent pen. And this is usually determined by my team. Like, if my team is 3 AD, I got to go flat pen, and I have to punish anyone who doesn't buy MR, right? So this is, for me, it's an all or nothing thing. If I buy Source Boots, I'm also buying a Haunting Guise, and I have 20 Magic Pen from Runes. If not, I have a Void Staff and probably an Athene's and Ionian Boots. So, Sorcerer's Boots OP.
Right, Talith PA, if you were forced to play an AP at gunpoint, would you buy Sorcerer's Shoes?
I'm also a big fan of the tri-pen thing. You run 21 spell pen from runes to go with it.
Wow, it sounds like we don't need a gun to make you buy them. Cool. I cancel that order.
Assassins from time to time too.
Plays me and LeBlanc, tell you that.
Oh, I forgot there were non-caster APs. That sentence was weird, but I think you guys know what I mean, right?
Non-mages, assassins.
Yeah. Okay. I had something else to say about them, but I forgot. No, I remember now. Would you ever, for any reason, get a Void Staff when you get Sorcerer's Shoes, or should those items really be kind of exclusive?
When you look at their build and you see that they're just stacking MR for whatever reason, like you feel good about yourself for making them buy that MR, but then you still want to do damage to them. You get the Void Staff.
Okay.
That's true. Maybe like my scenario when you're the only AP. Maybe you're Teemo with 3 ADs on your team, but your 3 ADs are terrible and you're doing all the work, so they still buy MR. So you say, Tripen plus Void Staff plus Death Cap, go. Makes sense, right? I've actually been known to sell Haunting Guys for Void Staff 25 minutes in. It happens.
It's a lot of efficiency.
All right.
So sometimes what I'll do is, like, after I get a Void Staff, I'll be like, I don't really need my sword boots anymore, so I'll sell it for, like, Mercs or Tabby.
Well, we're going to move on to the boots that we haven't mentioned too much yet. The Ionian Boots of Lucidity, the boots with the longest name. I said that funny, I think. But these give you 15% CDR. It seems like you would use this on basically everything in the game. Why don't we see it used on everything in the game?
Sometimes you get the itemized other CDR items.
Look, the reason people hate Ionians is the reason people hate CDR. It's because they have to count and do math. Adding up to 40 is difficult. I mean, there's 4 from Masteries, God knows how many from Runes. That's just a headache. It's better to just get 0 CDR and never cast anything.
I'm actually...
Sarcasm. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's totally fine.
Actually, recently in the Dominate Dominion tourney, well, we were up against a new team, so I wasn't taking him too seriously. So I actually used him as, like, a test bed for, like, an Ionian Boots brand. Basically what I did was, like, instead of doing, like, my usual Glacial Shroud thing, like, what I did was, like, I did Ionian Boot and then Randuin's for my armor item, because it does help me kite better. And, like, obviously I didn't get to finish the Randuin's because the game ended too fast, but I actually do like having that early CDR, so I'd say that Ionians are a perfectly viable damage alternative to Sword Boots on ranged AP. It gives you a bit more freedom with your others. It gives you a bit more freedom with the other CDR you're running. Like, you can, like, if you have Ionians, you can pretty much forego. You can just ignore the fact that Frozen Heart exists and go for the rando ones instead for better kiting and stuff.
Anybody else have any thoughts on Ionians?
Favorite boots?
I mean, they're great for champions, like AD champions, who just can't find CDR in items and they want flat armor pen. Like, you'll see a Talon. Talon's a good one to have those. Stuff like Irelia. A lot of the more physical melee champions, you'll see them, or even the ranged champions like Ezreal.
Now, would you buy them on Irelia and Irelia, or only on Irelia?
Look, Irelia is important. Irelia is irrelevant. See, they sound similar. So.
Damn, son! Oh, wow. I walked into that pun so hard. I feel bad about myself now. Let's sip on this tea and be quiet and mention tanks. Tanks with Ionian boots?
If
I don't know.
I tanking, I definitely think you'd want one of the.
Looking at using let's not say tanks. Heavy disruption champions. Champions have a lot of disruption. Could they spend their boots on the Ionian and sort of save CDR in an item somewhere else to buy a stronger tank item?
If you're looking at a disruptive champion that could get away with it, you'd probably want someone like Riven. She gets away with the Ionians.
And Riven doesn't have the option to build Frozen Heart without wasting a lot of stats.
Yeah.
But then again, for like a tanky champion, like, you are sacrificing the defensive boot option, so like that's a consideration to take into account.
I think sacrificing the 10% auto attack reduction from Tabby is huge on a tank.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that you mentioned Ninja Tabby, because that's actually the next one that I've got. Ninja Tabby, I feel like this is one of the best items in the damn game. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
King of boots.
Mm-hmm.
All of PECS, you will frequently see large numbers of people on PECS buying Ninja Tabby against heavy AD teams. Or even half-half AD AP teams if there isn't too much disruption being thrown around, just because it's so strong.
Great against a lot of the champions who get used a lot, like Wukong and Ezreal.
Jace.
Jace. Good buddy Jace.
They're extremely cheap with a ton of armor, and they offer the armor equivalent of what Odin's offers, and Odin's is God knows how expensive compared to those. I can't do math. Come on. You can start with them like going against the team of ADs with like a Ninja Tabby on a Jarvan top, and you just don't die. Like you can't die because there's no damage coming your way. You don't break through those with physical attacks early on. And even mages do auto attacks, especially like in the first windmill fight, because they have no CDR, so they're casting once every 8 seconds and then just auto attacking stuff at range. So you're taking a ton of physical damage from mages.
And early on, mage auto attacks are actually early on mage auto attacks do comparable damage to like the physical champions. Like it's basically like a difference of like 20 AD or so early on, and it's like really like 60 damage constantly is fairly significant to that portion of the game.
Okay. That's pretty convincing. I'm gonna go buy a pair. Wonder how much they are on Amazon or something. Go pick them up after this. Now the 10% auto attack damage reduction, is there a situation in which Ninja Tabby would not be optimal against an AD, or is it just always going to be optimal against an AD?
Kha'Zix.
Maybe it's Kha'Zix, Garen,
What about
Pantheon.
What about Cog and Kale?
Kale does mostly like once she starts to hit like mid and late game, it's mostly her physical auto attacks. So you want Tabby against her.
Okay.
Unless it's an
AD
AP
casters. AD casters don't tend to care about the auto attack reduction, depending on which AD casters.
All right.
Talon Riven, you still would like Tabby against him just because a lot of the damage does come from empowered auto attacks.
Yeah.
Does it give the 10% reduction against special auto attacks?
Yes. It blocks things like Rengar's Q and stuff.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Really good against Rengar, not any good against Kha'Zix. Kind of funny.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Kha'Zix
It's great against Wukong too. Like it works on his empowered Qs. It's real good.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more boot left to talk about before I want to go over matchups and stuff after that. Touch upon it in the different sort of scenarios in the game. Mercury Treads. We see Mercury Treads and Ninja Tabby are probably the two most common items that are built in Dominion. I would say that they both kind of fight each other for first place. Mercury Treads, when and why?
Rammus.
Tenacity.
Fiddles. That's why.
Oh god, Cassidon.
Just like you were saying, the enemy team. I don't want to.
Okay, hold on. Let me draw a conclusion from this. If the enemy team has champions, you get Mercury Treads.
It's really specific.
Close, but not quite.
Like you were saying earlier, it depends on what your enemy team is. Like if you're against an Alistar and maybe what's another good amount, like a Warwick and a Skarner and a Singe.
Then it's not very useful because
it's useless.
Because it doesn't affect those their CCs at all. But if you're up against something like Cassidon or Fiddlesticks who have extremely long but reducible CCs, then Merc Treads are just amazing.
I feel like
don't affect not
hard against Luna.
Now I want to real quick note for the stream though, or for the VOD viewers rather, that tenacity does not affect its crowd control reduction, but it does not affect airbornes or anything that forcibly moves your character.
Knockups, knockbacks, suppresses. It doesn't do well against reapplying slows like Cogs and Singe. There's certain champions.
Doesn't do anything against Aura slows like Lulu.
Yeah.
Nope.
Now,
But you do have to get them against Lulu because you'll be a cat.
What's more valuable on this?
You do need mercs against Lulu for sure.
Okay, hold on. How come look, Cat Lulu is great, but can we see some more muffins? Can we see a little bit more muffin play?
No.
Fuck that skin.
There's a problem, and that skin is terrifying, and people don't want to buy it, or else they're afraid for their souls. It's a bad.
I have so many muffin jokes lined up for casting, but I've seen someone get muffined once in a Dominion tournament. It's usually something like, "Oh, look, Cat Pantheon is best Pantheon," and so he can't do anything against that. Like there's so many Cat ones that I can use that are bad and good, but I have some Cupcake ones too that I would like to use.
Look.
Like Confectionaryify.
Gandair, the Cupcake skin is like Lollipoppy. You just don't use it, alright?
We could just put both of them on the same team.
I think it's respect for humanity.
Okay.
But what you could do is you could ask PECS to let us have Lulu. We'll promise to use that skin, and I think that's a good trade. Yeah?
I don't know. I'll have to take it up with Envid.
Send it up for
Give us
management.
Lulu and Poppy. We'll get Lollipoppy in there. We'll get Cupcakes in there. It'll be so good.
We represent
I don't know.
the lollipop.
You guys have to give us Cassis and Kazakhs. And a Moo because Painkiller's sad.
If you get those three, then we also get Chase.
I don't know.
A really good game.
I think you guys just wrote my next show match.
You can have
that you guys are going to play in.
Nunu.
I heard Nunu too. We need like 3 more champions. I'm just going to make teams. You guys are going to play. I'll stream it.
Terror teams.
That's a little off topic though. Okay, so this item comes in 2 parts. Now the tenacity, we can all agree, is amazing. Now, are there reasons that you would buy this for the tenacity rather than the MR?
Yes.
Such as?
I don't actually get it because of the MR. The MR is a nice little bonus, but the reason why I get Mercury Treads is tenacity. Like, if I wanted Magic Resist, I'd just spend the money on the Negatron Cloak and upgrade it instead. It's...
Okay. Anyone else have any thoughts on the tenacity, or should I talk about the magic resistance?
Tenacity is good, and the reason why the Merc Treads are so good as tenacity is because the alternatives are garbage. They are garbage. If you ever see someone with a tenacity item that isn't Merc Treads, you have the right to make fun of them, to poke them, to set them on fire.
What is the least abysmal tenacity item? Not counting Mercury's treads. Moonflare? Moonflare?
I would say either Moonflare or a Cloak and Dagger. It's the
I'm actually a
opposite
fan
ones
of Cloak and Dagger.
I would actually go with the Cloak and Dagger because I don't know. They're all terrible though.
Like 50 AP, man, and tenacity.
50 AP is nothing.
Out of like my 2 years or 3 years of playing League of Legends, I have bought Moonflare's Spellblade once, and that's because I wanted to keep my 80 penetration on Katarina.
Okay. How about this? What if they have a 4 AD comp and their only AP is bottom lane, and all those AD champions have 2 CCs that can be affected by tenacity, but they're all auto attack champions? Do you go Ninja Tabby Moonflare Spellblade?
No, you go Mercs and Thornmail.
Oh.
Fuck you. You know what? In that situation, I'd go Tabby, Spellblade, and Thornmail.
You don't even need CC reduction. You go Tabby, Thornmail, Frozen Heart, Randuin's. Like, who needs damage? They'll kill themselves. They're just not gonna live.
Fair enough.
Can I be 9 for a moment? Can I pretend I'm 9?
Oh, sure, why not?
Hey guys, can we abbreviate Frozen Heart as fart? F heart, right? I'm done being 9. I'm sorry.
You can abbreviate it as FH. That's all you get.
I have it in my notes as Frozen, which is really weird when you get into Frozen Mallet, because Mallet's just abbreviated Mallet, but Frozen Heart's abbreviated Frozen. My internal notes are weird. So tenacity, definitely the highlight of this item, right?
Yes.
And the magic resist, good, but mostly tenacity?
Magic
I
is
like the
nice
magic
bonus.
resist when you have to get like piecemeal magic resist items, stuff that comes out of Null Mantle.
So, by picking up Mercury Treads, it gives you a little bit of leeway in your MR build sometimes?
It's something I mostly do on either Ezreal or Riven champions that don't generally get a lot of use out of the Negatron cloak items,
Okay.
and champions that need to edge out whatever they can at the beginning of the game.
Now, if Mercury Treads and Ninja Tabby fought, which one would win and why?
That would entirely depend against the enemy team.
I'm gonna say Ninja Tabby wins
Yeah.
because it's just as effective, if not more so, while being a lot cheaper. Mercs are still really expensive. Like, those hurt your wallet. Like, 350 gold doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're an upgrade away from an eye edge, 350 gold seems like a lot. Just saying.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of games where I'll go back and I'm actually 300 gold short from building Trinity Force.
All right,
That
let
is
me tell you the real answer. Mercury Treads and Ninja Tabby both only have auto attack. They don't have any abilities. So Mercury Treads doesn't need the tenacity or the magic resistance to really do anything about Ninja Tabby's attacks. Meanwhile, Ninja Tabby has both armor and % damage reduction, so it's constantly taking less damage from Mercury Treads. Now Mercury
Wait,
Treads
Gandair,
looks like it
but
has
what
more
if
hit
Mercury Treads
points.
is a caster?
Ooh. I don't know, man. We'll have to throw that to the out to the audience to see what they think about that. But I think it would be Ninja Tabby. But Mercury Treads looks like it has a little bit more hit points, so it might live long enough to deal the damage that it needs to. I don't know. Okay, so we went over all the different boots that there are, and let's talk about boots and matchups. And that's we're gonna go over them in boots as melee, boots as range, boots as bottom lane. Talith, you know how to melee and stuff, and Riven, Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
How about in melee as a melee range champion? What are your preferred boots? When do you get which ones? Can you give a couple of like general examples of comps that the top lane comps that we see a lot, and what you would get against them? Like, I know this is a very, very broad question, so try and generalize it as best you can. If they have, like, let's say if they're running 2 AD bruisers with an AP back and a tank, like, what would you run against that as an AD bruiser?
I generally, if I'm seeing stuff like Wukong, if I'm seeing Talon as their assassin, if I'm seeing occasionally Pantheon, I'm probably going to opt for the Tabby early. Just to not die at the very beginning of the game.
So if they're durable, and you know the fight is going to be prolonged, you'd opt for the Ninja Tabby.
It's actually really good to stop their burst damage just at the beginning of the game. You want to survive a rotation, just like a full combo rotation from them. You want to be able to survive and then actually fight until the rest of your team does what they need to do.
All right, and with a similar comp to that, how many CCs or more is a good gauge for when you would want to get Merc Treads on a bruiser, or would it still be more optimal to opt for the Tabby because you can live through that and they might be applying that CC elsewhere?
I'd say it's more about the duration of the CC and how constantly they can reapply it. So like a Fiddles or a Lulu, those two champions, they'll just keep on reapplying CC, and you'll never get away from them.
I think Fiddles in particular is a good case for Merc Treads just because the duration of a CC is so brutally long that it's like a 3.5 second fear or something. So if you can cut that by 35%, it's actually significant.
So longer CCs, Merc Treads are more effective against.
I like it against short CCs too. Like if you are against a Leona, it's still really funny because everything she does is mitigated by Merc Treads compared to like an Alistar who gives no fucks. But like a Leona gets really sad when her 1 second of CC turns into half a second of CC rounded.
Yeah.
Now, in that same, from that same point of view, from the bruiser brawler point of view, where do the other boots, fit in? I mean, it feels like we wouldn't see Ionian very often. We wouldn't see Sorceress. We wouldn't see Zerker's Greaves. We wouldn't see any of the other boots. Do those come down as the dominant two for that particular role?
It also depends on who, like the order you might want to enter a fight. So on occasionally, let's say Riven, I'm hoping that there's someone else on the team that would get into the fight first. And then usually those are the people that grab the first wave of attacks, get focus first, and I can come in with maybe one of the more offensive boots like Ionians.
So, if you can see yourself taking or being the focus of the CC, you would take the Merc Treads. But if you feel like you're more going to be the focus of the auto attack damage, go for Tabby as a bruiser?
Mm-hmm. Not even just a bruiser. Let's say on an 80 carry, Azrael, Misfortune, some of the ones I play on top. Like if I know that they have a champion that's going to get to me and they're going to do physical damage and I need to be alive to take to deal with it, I'll get Tabby. Like a Jarvan, a Xin, a Talon.
Yeah.
Now, from the opposite point of view, HaIfhearted and Aparkhurst, when you're attacking, enemy bruisers, which one of those two gives you more trouble? Like, which do you think is hard to deal with from an offensive standpoint?
For me personally, it's definitely Mercury Treads because one, I deal absolutely no the champions I play they do very very little physical damage. So I'm depending on CC and magic damage. I'm depending on CC to stay alive, and I'm depending on magic damage to hurt them. So Mercury Treads is a big pain in the ass for me as an AP player.
If you're looking at bottom lane, definitely look at Ninja Tabby because in a 1v1 situation, auto attacks are king. You will auto attack. If you're a caster, you'll auto attack. If you're melee range, it doesn't matter what you are, you'll get auto attacks in. Maokai does a significant amount of auto attack damage bot. You wouldn't think so, but he does. Who's another good situation? APE, all this stuff that builds pure AP is still going to auto attack you, and you're still going to take minion damage. If you're really aggressive like me, you're going to take turret damage. The armor is good, and yeah. But
AP also has a Lich Bane as well, so that's more physical damage mitigation.
And yeah, a lot of the AP champions will have a Sheen, a Lich Bane, and that's gonna get mitigated greatly by Tabby, whereas Merc Tread's not gonna really help that at all.
Okay, so just to kind of recap, brawler bruiser, it comes down to just kind of deciding which one of the two is going to benefit you more. Now, to play on the original topic that kind of spawned me, wanting to make this video there. So as a bruiser, it's sort of your job to stay alive and deal that damage. In that sense, is it more of a counter, or do you get to plan it into your build more often? In that particular role as a brawler, melee, CC, damage, whatever you call that role.
As far as the 80 bruises go, it's generally your flex slot you have. You can put whatever you want in there depending on what you feel like you need or can get away with in the game.
So you use your boot slots to support the rest of your game plan, you're saying?
Not necessarily support, it's that one item you get depending on what the enemy team has. For the normal bruisers, they might have a plan. Their item plan is kind of something they get for their team or something to counter the enemy team. So they're already on their way to maybe an Aegis or a Brutalizer or Kindle Gem, or they have an idea of what they want for items. But the boots are probably there to either counter or if they're feeling fancy that game, hell, I'll get Ionians.
All right. Does anyone else have to say anything about boots in regards to attacking or defending as a top lane bruiser?
Nah, I think Talith has still got it. It does feel very much like a counter option.
Well, no, I mean the exception is obviously bot laners like
But we're gonna cover
Tabby.
bottom lane next.
Okay, I'll talk about it a while then.
Yeah, let me get my segue into it, and then I'll let you finish that subject. So, after all this, I'll kind of get your guys' thoughts from tanks. I don't really have a tank. I couldn't really find a dedicated tank to sit here and talk, so I'll pull you guys on that after I cover your guys' roles. But yeah, as HaIfhearted was just saying, bottom lane sometimes seems like a scary place to be. It's your job to be consistent, because when you're not, the game literally comes down around you. People will come down from the top lane to help your point or to attack the enemy's point, depending upon who's quote-unquote losing in the bottom lane. Or if they want to try and make top lopsided, they will come down, put pressure on that bottom lane, which, again, makes top kind of come down one way or another. And it seems like that's a very intense position to play. How do your boot choices typically roll out with some of the various bottom lane champions, some of the various matchups? You don't have to go through all of them. Just kind of like rattle off some of the common ones you go into, and what you like to build and why it's helpful.
So some of the matchups, specific matchups like for Merc Treads, Cassio is the most. I'm a Cassio player, right? And if you play Cassiopeia...
Can I preface this with something? Now,
Sure.
Does this... Is it, when you say... Is the enemy champ more important to your boot build, usually, than your champ choice? Just as, like, an overall theme for bottom lane?
Depends on the champ. Like, if I'm playing Mal's, you'll 99% of the time see me have Ninja Tabby on Malzahar, just because they're so fucking amazing, and I build tanks, so it synergizes well with tank stats. But apart from that, it's, are you against an AD? You should probably build the Ninja Tabbies. Are you against something else? You can have your Ionians or your Berserkers or maybe your Mercs. I don't like Mercs bottom lane, though, because you only ever really deal with 1 or 2 CCs at a time, except for Cassio. Cassio is the most noted exception to that because her mechanics break down against Merc Treads because of basically really poor interaction with them, because her W counts as a slow, which gets mitigated by Merc Treads to the point where if you're standing in her W's poison, you can have it off long enough for her E not to reset while you're standing and breathing miasma in. It is the worst thing in the world. So if you ever are against Cassio,
that might explain some of my.
Oh my god,
that might explain why I miss the proc sometimes.
It's so infuriating because it's not 2 debuffs. It's a slow and a poison, but it's one same debuff. So when you're standing there and you're breathing poison and you're purple and you're dying and you're gasping for air, you're not poisoned because of the Merc Treads, and I hate it. The end.
Do Merc Treads also cure cancer? Because they sound pretty awesome.
They might. If cancer, they would make cancer 35% less effective.
there could be a potential application there.
All right, so overall, because of... Do the minions play a significant role in that Ninja Tabby's prevalence?
Oh yeah, minions do a lot of work. They hit like trucks, and your fights usually last like 10 seconds 1v1 because it's not a big team fight. You're the only one dealing damage. You're the only one taking damage. So the minions do beat an ass, and you have to watch out. And Ninja Tabby.
Okay. Now, can a case
I
be
have
made
a sad
for...
story once. Like once I was playing bot lane's Honor versus Yorick, and I was stupid enough to try engaging him in the middle of his minion wave, and like, I shit you not, when I checked my death recap, the minions did more damage to me than anything Yorick did, including his Ignite. And I was just like, what the fuck?
No, they do work.
All right. Can a case be made for the other boots?
Tabby, yes. Ionians, yes. Circers, yes. Nothing else about that. I mean, those are the only real boots anyways. I mean, you don't need move speed from boots in bot lane, like, for mobility. But you would never get mobility boots bot. That would be hilarious.
I know what I'm making one of my stipulations in the theme match now. Bottom laners must
Don't
build.
do it. Don't. Making me sad.
It's
I've seen
okay.
people like Talon that go bottom get boots 5.
He's not going bottom, he's ganking bottom. He's flow charting, it's different.
And the last note on bottom lane is I mentioned one of the first things I mentioned was no boots openings, because boots being the subject, sometimes the lack of boots is also a subject. You mentioned Rise Maokai. Is there anyone else that like a Catalyst or a no boot opening works on bottom lane?
Misfortune bottom lane can start with Prospector's Blade and a longsword. That's really fun because she doesn't need to actually run away from anything. I've done double Dorans plus cloth plus potion. That was good. Like if you know what
champion though?
I was Udyr against
Okay.
physical damage champion who was really sad. Because I had like 90 armor. It was great. Level 3, 90 armor. Perfect. I'm gonna look at the list of champions. I'm sure there's others. No, I think the Catalyst is probably the most prevalent no boot start because everything else is basically P blade or it's either P blade, P ring, or like a chalice. Chalice bot's really good, but you can get boots and chalice 2 pots. So you're gonna get boots because they're gonna keep you alive.
All right. I did my topics a little bit out of order. Kind of have my clock a little bit out of order too, but oh well. So now, Half-Hearted, you play ranged champions. You predominantly play as AP champions, but you spend a lot of time in the ranged role where you're back away from the combat. Now, being out of the line of fire, as it were, does that enable you to make more offensive boot choices than defensive boot choices?
Occasionally, it depends on the champion I'm playing. Like someone like Cogmaw has the someone like Cogmaw or Cassiopeia has the range to potentially take a more offensive pair of boots. But if you're playing like an up and close and personal mage like Rumble, or if you're playing like Fizz or something, then you probably defensive boots do become a lot more viable at that point, I feel.
All right.
But again, it depends on the enemy team.
Now, one of the things I've always kind of wondered about is when you hang back away from the fight, that's when, assassins like to try and make a play or people try and cut in behind. If you do get caught being cut in behind by, let's say, like a Kha'Zix or a Nock or anything, just think of something horrible and pretend that's going to happen to you. Pretend you didn't ban it and it's going to happen to you. Would defensive boot choices really save you if you get caught away from the team?
If I'm up against something like Rengar, then I'm very likely to get Ninja Tabby, yeah. And it does help. I personally feel as though like defensive boots gives me that extra time to like stun them or just like exhaust them and run away or something. Like I do feel like they help.
Okay, so Crystal Slippers not so good, Steel-toed work boots pretty good.
Sometimes it helps you survive one rotation, and that's enough to get away.
Yeah, or that's enough for you. That's enough to give you a time to do your full rotation on them.
Okay. From the point of view of someone trying to kill that guy, the guy in the back, what gives you more trouble dealing with them? The extra damage, the Ninja Tabby, or the Merc Treads? Like, what gives you more trouble killing people? Like, what do you go, this is going to make things a little different? Is there anything that really triggers
You're
that?
trying to get through to get to them.
So it's mostly dependent on what's in your way as opposed to what they're wearing.
Honestly, Ionians is pretty troublesome. Like, early Ionians means they can escape better if they have an escape mechanism. Like, if you see Talith with Ionian boots and you're just trying to run at him and he's near a wall, it's not going to work.
Yeah, walls are only a suggestion, not a rule.
Right, so a lot of the time you flank someone successfully and you have a gap closer left and, they gap close, you use yours and you catch up to them. Sometimes the half a second that Ionians will take off will get them away, you've seen people get away with half a health and you just almost got up to them, but you didn't have the CDR and they did. Your cooldown was almost up and theirs, just barely edges you out. Those are situations where Ionians will do a little bit more than maybe Mercs. Because a lot of the time assassins don't have hard CC because they don't need it. They're not trying to keep you there for days. They're trying to not let you live any longer. They're killing you. Rengar doesn't need to have hard CC. He kills you.
But he has a hard CC anyways.
He would lose all of his damage if he used that.
Yeah, I thought that was a rage dump to.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, but he still does have a slow to keep you from getting away.
yeah, it's a slow where he's gonna
Yes,
keep
that's
chasing
slow.
you. You're probably gonna
Yes,
slow
I'm gonna
him, and whoever's got their abilities coming up faster is gonna win that fight because you're probably not gonna be in an auto attack situation with you running away and him chasing you.
Yeah.
Like it's very weird for a melee to actually catch up in a way where they're constantly auto attacking someone. Usually they get their gap closer and they get 1 or 2 auto attacks in before they have to wait for it again. Like there's a rhythm that goes into it. It's not like you could just constantly
I don't know.
apply auto attacks for like Tabby. But it's more for the situation where it's a 4v4 all in and you're not going to be able to move because you have so much CC around you that they will get to auto attack you, and you need to have Tabby for that because whoever's the focus is going to get like all the loose mage auto attacks, and it all that adds up, and you just die.
It doesn't show up on this death report because it's probably the least important among all the damage that you're taking, but it adds up.
Okay. Now, sort of just we don't have a dedicated tank, but you guys, I'm sure, have experimented with many different champions. How do you feel for tanks? I feel like Ionians can be solid on them, but I feel like Ninja Tabby Merc Treads are, again, seeming to be the better options. Thoughts on those?
Sark shoes on a Mumu.
Yep.
I'll do it.
Some champions like Warwick and Mumu can get away with source boots because they're probably not going to be the focus, or they have so much sustain that they'll just get away with it. But you'll generally see a Ninja Tabby. Like, can't really. Oh, Malphite. Malphite gets source boots too. So big case for source boots is Malphite.
I usually see Malphites go. I usually see Malphites and the movements go with nerf crits, though, and I certainly can't blame them for it.
You
can't blame him for having source boots.
Cards.
You can't blame them for having source boots though, because they do damage. Like,
Yeah,
the base
yeah, I
damage
know.
is high enough for them to actually kill someone if they're ignored. So you have to kill them. You have to get them CC'd.
Yeah, no.
One of the biggest parts of being a tank, like peeling is good, but one of the most important parts of being a tank is actually staying relevant. Like, the thing I hate about Leona is that she does some CC, but there's no reason to kill Leona if there's someone else you can kill instead. Like, there's no, like, for Namumu, you have to kill him, or else your whole team is going to die. For Malphite, again, your whole team is going to die if you don't kill him.
Yep, although some things, like, some more unconventional choices, like, say, Skarner, do go for Ninja Tabby or Merc Treads just because they do want that extra survivability.
Oh,
I think because he's AD based. He wants the Sheen Triforce deal to do his damage, not so much M-Pen.
Yeah.
Shen's another example.
Yeah, like physical damage tanks like Skarner or Blitzcrank, like, they don't really care about Slark Boots, though. And there aren't really any physical offensive options, and you could argue Berserker Creeps, but CC is going to kind of put a damper on their auto, so, they might as well just go Tabby Mercs.
All right, so it seems like with the high prevalence of, incoming auto attack damage, whether it be from tanks or whether it be, mixed in by AP, and the fact that you commonly do see two bruisers, or at least a bruiser and an AD, or some combination of two champions through physical damage dealt, and crowd control being so popular because of the sort of skirmish nature of Dominion, it seems that Ninja Tabby and Mercury Treads are the top two types of boots to build, barring any specific circumstance where you kind of set up a comp or set up a build where it sort of allows you out of that. Is that safe to say?
You just can't go wrong building either one of those two.
Yeah, see, the thing is, with Ionian boots, you actually have to make sure you never screw up because you'll get punished harder for mistakes. But if you can still be a mage in the back with Merc Treads, and you're just that much harder to kill if, the situation ever does happen, and you don't lose that much damage from boots. So, like, my Nidalee will always have Source Boots or Onions, but I don't blame someone who's staying at range and has Merc Treads or Ninja Tabby because they're even less likely to die.
Well, that covers the two most dominant ones that we see. What are the other boot types? Let's just kind of look at Dominion in general and kind of recap what makes the other boots not quite as desirable. As I mentioned, Mercury Treads, it has the tenacity, which is great because of the prevalence of usually having 1.5 CC per champion that there is. And when I say CC, I'm not even referencing slows. We had slows in the fact damn near everything in the game has it. And that really helps you a lot, as we've hit on, talking about the boots and the different roles that there are. Ninja Tabby, because of just the prevalence of auto attack damage, people seem to like bruisers. They like to stay alive, and the longer they're alive, that 10% is just going to keep stacking and stacking and stacking. It gives armor on top of that. And it's cheap as well, you've mentioned. Now, let's just kind of go back to the list real quick, and just generally speaking, Ionian not so popular because it doesn't bring any durability to the table, and usually you can fit cooldown reduction in your build via runes and items in order to keep that boot slot open for one of the more defensive boots.
That's only true for mages. I don't feel that's true at all for, like, melee or any AD. AD have really hard times fitting CDR into their builds. Like, hitting 40% on an AD is tough, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So if you don't have good itemization within your champion and the way that you build your champion, then it can be a good idea to get Ionian boots in order to help make that difference that you have versus other characters less severe.
Well, yeah, like a mage, you're only going to get those if you beforehand say, all right, I have my build set up, I have no flat pen, I'm going to get a Void Staff and an Ionian Boots and another 15%. But for melee ADs, they kind of go into the game, like if it's Blind Pick, they're going into the game hoping that they don't have to build Merc Treads. They don't want to see a Rammus. It's not like people want Merc Treads, they just kind of have to. Or alternatively Ninja Tabby against 4 auto attacker stop. Talith's thrilled. Like he lights up like a child on Christmas when he can build Ionian Boots on Ribbon. It's amazing.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, you're not the only one. I love getting the chance to build offensive boots. It's like I get to build offensive boots. It's like this never happens.
Okay. Any other final thoughts on Ionian?
Underrated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Underrated.
It's good, but very situational, I feel.
Well, speaking of situational, it seems like Sorcerer's Shoes isn't terribly popular for kind of the reasons that you outlined with the Ionian boots. You're going to want that 10% damage reduction. You're going to want that tenacity, but it seems like Sorcerer's Shoes can definitely work in builds and be effective. And if you guys could recap a couple situations in which you would get Sorcerer's Shoes, places where you want to use them.
I'll take this one. Like for long-ranged APs, like if I feel like I can stay safe and I'm not too worried about dying, then I'll pick up Sorks as like that extra early game high damage option.
So here's your situation. I'll build you a scenario. Let's say you're in solo queue, right? And you're feeling like an assassin. You want to murder somebody, and you're gonna pick LeBlanc or Fizz. And your team picks 3 ADs, 3 terrible AD auto attackers. They're Caitlyn, and they're Draven, and they're Vayne, because I hate Vayne. I'm going to call it terrible here. So this is when, even if they have all the CC in the world, you kind of need to go flat pen. You need to get Sorcerer's Boots, and you need to basically destroy anybody who doesn't build MR just to protect your team from a full armor build comp. Like, if your whole team is dedicated to auto attacks, you need to be the guy punishing people for having Thornmail, Frozen Heart, Ninja Tabby, Randuin's, Guardian Angel.
So it can be used as a tool to punish the other team.
Definitely.
Okay. I like that. It feels as though like the boots are completed early on, so early on in the game though that it would be kind of hard to use them as a counter, but at the same time I also think that after a certain level, or at a certain level of play, you can kind of see, you know, oh, these are going to be the people that pick up these items, these are going to be people that pick up these items, and I can go Sorcerer's Shoes and destroy this person because they're not going to get that. Does that happen?
Definitely.
Yeah,
Like, if you see a Malphite and you're playing LeBlanc, and you have to be the one to kill that Malphite. It sucks. You want to kill Squishy, but your team is, you know, Caitlyn, Draven, and Vayne. What are they going to do against Malphite?
Gotcha.
Like after a while, I just sort of get a feel for like who's going to be doing what and like what their general builds are going to be, and like you just know in advance like what sort of boots you're going to need.
What you can even do, if you're feeling really vindictive, is you can target one person, and even though it's kind of bad to do this, target one person, just kill them over and over again as LeBlanc or Fizz until they buy MR, and just stop paying attention to them, right? And then just go to the next person who has no MR, and then you systematically force them to buy MR, or else they die.
I don't think that's vindictive. I think that makes you a genius, because that's a really smart play sometimes to be able to force things like that, to be able to force the enemy build, control enemy positioning. I think that can just be really good. Okay, Berserker's Greaves, attack speeds, all right. When do we get it? When's like Berserker's Greaves? What's a great time to buy?
When you're Kog'Maw with a frozen mallet and no one's ever gonna get to you. Bam. How are you gonna get to that? I'm not gonna get to that.
If you're an 80 carry going for an Infinity Edge build, I'd probably get him.
Berserker's Greaves on AP, half-hearted?
No.
Diana?
The one exception is actually AP Kale. She can make good use of those bot. AP Kale with a Nashor's, XX Sweeper, and a Void Staff.
Yeah, but Kale likes to go both ways, though. She doesn't really count as an AP.
If AP Kale has a Nashor's and like a Void Staff, or like if she has like a Nashor's and a Sweeper, I want to go Slark Boots on her and make those that magic damage a bit more.
But for bot lane, flat pen is kind of terrible because everyone buys defense.
Yeah, and bot lane everyone counter builds. That makes sense. So you get more mileage on just attacking faster.
Okay.
Exceptions to every rule.
So Boots Swiftness, should I just close this tab entirely?
Yes.
Done.
It's situational. Like one or two champions can kind of maybe use them.
It's too late, half-hearted. I close the tab. Boots Swiftness is gone. It's removed from the game.
Oh, one important note about Boots of Swiftness. Do not get Boots of Swiftness on Hecarim. It's not worth it.
Nope.
I see people making that mistake, and I'm like, dude, I've done like the math. It's like, it gives you anywhere from like, the upgrade gives you anywhere from like 2 to 4 extra attack damage.
All right, let's change this.
You would literally get more damage. Like, you would get more damage from building Berserker Graves on that ground.
Let's change the question then. Specifically, do not buy Swiftness on which champs for what reason, if you guys want to throw some out. Hecarim because the damage isn't significant.
Garen because you're melee. Stop it. Just stop it. Get the newspaper if you don't stop it.
It's like you need Tabby or Merc treads on them again, and even Ionia. It's like those will all do so much more for Garen than Swiftness.
Okay.
I'll build the hell out of Ionians on Garen.
All right.
It's just the way that the movement speed works. Like from Boots 1 to Boots 2 is a good significant upgrade. From Boots 2 to Boots 3 is like, was it 10, 20 MS difference?
It's actually it's actually 20 move speed at like any upgrade above Boots. above boots 1. Like going from boots 1 to boots 2 is plus 20, I believe.
So
Going
that's
from
great.
boots 2 to boots 3 is also 20.
It,
And
no, it
theoretically,
reduces. It's less, isn't it? Every time you go up one, it's less.
I
no,
thought it
I
was
think
flat, and I'm reading the wiki page. It says,
I think it's 20 at all stages.
3 increases the base movement of a champion by 90. Let me click mobility here. So we'll talk about mobility next. Let's see. Expand movement 5 increases their movement by 130. It looks like there's like sort of a
Diminishing return.
progression or a DR or
Yeah,
something
it goes
like
up by
that.
20. So it's like boots 1 is 50, then boots 2 is 70, boots 3 is 90. The theoretical boots 4 would be 110, and boots 5 is 130. So it actually just go up by 20 at all stages.
Actually, it doesn't say what the movement on Boots' speed is yet.
Boots
Yeah.
1 gives you a 50 move speed.
Okay. All right. So let's hit Boots mobility. Like, when's a good time to buy it? Who's it good on?
And you're a flow-charting assassin, top.
Gang bot.
When you're pooting, aggressive back capper.
If you're back capping like hell, or if you're just ganking bot all game long, then mobility is awesome.
Dedicated gank or dedicated back capper. Specifically, like dedicated. Not you're gonna do it for part of the game, but kind of not, because then you're really not getting the bonus out of that movement speed 5. You have to be extremely active on the map for that to pay off, right?
Yeah, and the problem you run into with those, especially if you're a champion who has some built-in movement speed, is you do run into diminishing returns on like the amount it increases with speed trines, especially when you hit a speed trine and you're like misfortune with boots 5, it doesn't give you nearly as much as a normal champion with normal move speed, just because diminishing returns. Was it cut in half after a certain period?
Yeah, I think it cuts in half after like, I want to say like 480-ish, I think.
So yeah, keep in mind that you're always on a speed trine in Dominion, so you are going to be moving fast because of that, and it's not the best synergy in the world.
All right. And Boots of Speed. Just buy that at the beginning of the game, right? That's when you get it? Just get it?
Yes, just
Pretty
have
much,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
And if you didn't start off with it, get it as your first item whenever you can.
All right. And as for the case of no boots, when do you sell your boots and get a fam dancer instead?
28 minutes in.
Okay.
That is the time with which you do that.
When do you rush Phantom Dancer over Boots 1? Or over Boots?
You don't rush Phantom Dancer over boots.
It's like Berserker's Greaves level 3, right?
No, actually, it's
One
it
thing you
actually
could do
gets-
is if you're
selling boots for Phantom Dancer actually lowers your move speed.
Slightly, yeah. By
It does.
like 18 or something like that.
It's a noticeable feel to me.
Yeah, I've done it a few times in games just because I was playing an attack speed and crit heavy champ, and I'm like, I'm just gonna take that I'm gonna take that move speed loss. My team will tank; it'll be fine. 28 minutes, get a fam dancer, throw those boots in the closet again. Okay, so it's boots and Dominion. Is there anything that you guys close it up? Is there anything that we might have missed? Any specific matchups you guys want to kind of shout out for things? Any kind of general messages to the community about boots in Dominion? When, where, how? Bueller.
one cute thing you could do. If you get a Zeal, it gives you more movement speed instead of upgrading from boots 1 to boots 2. So if you're trying to rush Eternity Force, then getting a Zeal might even just be
Huh.
the easier way than getting maybe Circuit Greaves if you're planning on getting it, or
I've seen Skarners do that,
Onions, you don't need to do that.
where they get boots 1, they go into Triforce to finish the boots later.
Steiner kind of needs all the move speed he can get in order to catch up to people, so I don't know about that personally.
I didn't say it
Depends
was
on when
like...
you go back. You have enough money to get Zeal just outright instead of getting boots 2.
So it's something that could maybe happen once in a while, jury out on the big study?
I don't know. I feel like Skarner really benefits from the defensive options just because, like, he is so auto-attack dependent because of his passive. Like, he needs, like, you do need, you get Merc treads a lot because CC shuts down his survivability by a ton. And
Aparkhurst,
because he,
tiebreaker. You can't say Merc Treads. Zeal or no
So-
zeal?
The one champion who could just say, who needs boots too? I'll get a bunch of zeals, and I mean more than one dunking style, would be Kog'Maw, because he can actually just do enough base damage for that to work. Not on Vayne. Don't do that on Vayne. I've seen that on Vayne too many times, and it doesn't ever work.
It
But
feels like her
Kog'Maw-
range is too short for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, Kog'Maw can do it, though.
And are there any... Do you guys have any what not to do's with boots that you'd like to throw out? Other than the aforementioned, boot swiftness on
Yeah,
Hecarim, just no.
and Hecarim.
Any big no's?
Any melee champion with Berserker Greaves is just doing it. Like, I can't think of a single melee champion who wants Berserker Greaves. It just doesn't
Yeah.
exist in my brain. Like, you're melee. What are you going to do with that?
Oh god, Zerker Grease, freaking Jace, that's... Just makes me cry.
Ow.
Stop buying attack speed on Jace. Stop buying
He has so much speed in his shape-changing, clicky
Yeah,
thing.
I see it all the time, too. It's so
I
bad.
know, it's so sad. It's like, if you want to attack faster, get Ionian boots so you can have hypercharge it more often.
All right. I was having another thought here. Now, intentional troll builds. What are the stupidest ways you can build boots? AKA most hilarious ways you can build boots on who and why? I want to hear a few.
I'm
So
going
goes
with boots.
Garen.
But wouldn't it help? No, wouldn't it help? The
It helps
Delacian
with
Judgment or
ultimate.
whatever.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I
isn't
know, it's the best logic right there, guys. This is ultimate damage.
Assassin Garen.
It's
Oh.
totally viable.
What else is
No,
just
it's-
horrible that you've seen?
No one sees it coming.
Attack damage, Berserker Greaves brand. You heard it here first.
So next tourney, right?
Yes, exactly. I'm going to
All
put
I'm
Crystal
saying-
Six to shame.
All I'm saying is that I just thought of a champion melee who totally should get Zerker Greaves. Tarek. Done. Tarek.
Yes.
Just saying.
Oh, AD Tarek is so fun.
Dude, I love Bruiser Tarek. He's so cool. He will fight you.
He doesn't care.
Black Cleaver, and you start shredding all the armor.
Dude, fuck that. You gotta go really manly. Get an Infinity's Edge, Phantom Dancer, Tarek. He dunks harder than the Bunkmaster.
Oh, what else is here that... Nocturne can almost get away with Zerker Greaves, although it's just a bad idea. He wants Ionians.
Oh yeah, he does. You rely on using the shield to stop any CC that you're scared of.
Is there any champion that just straight up has particularly long CC, or not CC, particularly long cooldowns in general, where you would actually favor an Ionian's early game? Because they just have
Nocturne
naturally long stuff?
specifically.
Okay. Is anyone else?
I actually go for Ionians on Xerath. Like, what I do on Xerath, like, I start boots ring, then I go for Phages Codex Ionian boots. Like, it's like that early game, the CDR I need. Like, start really spamming.
So I do on Italy.
Yeah, it feels like you always want to just go percentage pen just because of his passive on W, I think.
Yeah, like,
Xerath with
Xerath,
wood stuff.
like, actually max Xerath's the locus of power second, like, instead of Mage Chains, just because, one, it lowers the cooldown to on par with his Q, and two, it's a built-in void staff at max rank, so, like, it's a huge steroid.
Okay. Alright. And I think to wrap it up, let's try and nail down an overall... Defensive boots are very good. If you feel safe, you can build offensive. And if you have a specific reason to get boots because of runes or a pre-planned build, like, hey, I've got CDR here, I don't need it here, or hey, I've got armor, resist, speed, whatever, wherever. But predominantly, defense, great to have, because you want that sustainability in a fight. If you're safe, you can build some more offensive-oriented boots. And swiftness not even once.
Swiftness
They make me so
real
sad.
niche item.
They make me so sad. They cost so much too. Oh my god.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna close out the VOD. Let's do an outro. If you guys want to do outros, tell people who your teams are and why you should watch them, and then I'll outro, and then I'll close the thing. Not everyone at once.
Hi, I'm Aparkhurst. I'm on BPP, and I'm a butterfly, prettiest butterfly, and I don't like social networking, and we don't really have anything to plug. But,
All right.
yeah. Go tell.
I'll let the text number go. Take turns.
You go next since you guys are both members of BPP.
Yeah, man. The Parkers
More
put you on the
BPP.
spot, so
I did. I said your name.
I'm Talith PA. I play the 80 carries, 80 bruises, and when they let me, play AP. Do real good work.
Okay, I'm half-hearted. I'm on PECS. I play the ranged AP carry role, and I do actually have something to plug. I don't think he's streaming right now, but Captain Blueberry streams occasionally, and we do like the PECS Skype call and stuff, and it's fun in games when the queues do come up. So, what's the link? It's owned TV/Captain Blueberry.
make sure to remind me, and I'll link that in the VOD too for anyone that wants to see that. And I'm Gandair. I'm your host. I put this together, and hopefully I'll put together some more in the future. You can
He's
find
actually streaming right now. How about that?
Oh, cool. So if anyone's actually watching the live stream, you can go check that out as soon as this closes out. And, yeah, I'm Gandair of the gaming clan VATOCLAN. I do casting for DominateDominion.com on Saturdays, and I started casting for the Four Players Liga on the Europe West server, and you can find all that stuff on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/VATOCLAN. And if you want to see more of these three guys, HaIfhearted, Aparkhurst, and Talith PA, you can check out the VODs on my YouTube channel. You can search them by player name and champion name. So you want to see Aparkhurst playing Kog'Maw, type that in, VOD will come up. You want to see HaIfhearted playing Brand, type it in, VOD will come up. Do you want to see how often Talith PA plays Riven against Sauron Jax? You can type that in, see how many games come up. It's a little searchable thing. So that's Boots, guys, and we will see you another time.
Peace.
Done, son.
Later.
I dropped 4 frames the whole time. So good.